Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto. For my clothes, I intentionally had to put on my Satoshi because we are all Satoshis. I'm even repping mine, you know, just to always remember that it is a decentralized network that is not run by a central entity. I am Satoshi Nakamoto, you are Satoshi Nakamoto. A group of people can become Satoshi Nakamoto also, depending on the project or the value you are about to create on a Bitcoin standard. That is to me, that is the entirety of Bitcoin network itself. A community of people that are trying to bring themselves up through a decentralized network where we know that our sound money, our value, our time, our energy will not be taken away from us. So Satoshi Nakamoto and the creator and the creation of Bitcoin. That's what we are going to be diving into. A lot of people automatically dismiss e-currency. There's a lot of them. I think I came across Perfect Money. I don't know if any of you came across Perfect Money also. They recently stopped Nigerian from using Perfect Money also. We enjoyed using Perfect Money because I think it was cheap at a point and it was fast. They don't really need much of your identity, your phone number, you're good to go. So that's one of it. So there were too many reasons why most of this e-currency failed because of companies that are trying to centralize it all the way from 1990. I hope it's obvious it was only the central control. There were people that were the board members, the CEO, the co-founders, the marketing team, all of them make it a central point of failure. They make it because a wrong decision from the CEO, the co-founder, anything can just affect everybody to affect the whole network. It's one of the reasons why most of the e-currency at the earlier stage did not work the way it's meant to be because of it was centrally controlled by a group of people or a group of or a company or a household. I think this is the first time we are trying a decentralized non-trust based system. Now we are not trusting anything, we are giving it up to the computer, a CPU. The stronger the CPU, the greater the hash network to actually mine and make Bitcoin stronger by the day. So here's a prehistory. The Bitcoin prehistory is the result of 40 years of research, development, and demand. So when you look at these years of hard work, 40 years, like that's like almost how many decades now, where people, not just somebody, group of people have been trying to make it work. They've always known that the fact that money, the value we inscribe to money is what makes it valuable for people to want to get them, earn them, and make use of them. If you look there, 1998, there was even Bitcoin by the NSA. I don't know if you know these NSA people. And then there's also David Charm. David Charm is quite a popular person when it comes to e-currency. He tried a lot. And then there's also Adam Back. Adam Back is still around. You can check him out on X also. He's actually a good software developer and cypherpunk. And then if you look there, you can also see that too many of them founded DigiCash by David Charm also. There were too many efforts to actually make sure that this our Bitcoin network is not centralized, is decentralized. And all of these projects failed because they were controlled by a centralized entity, a group of people, which is the problem we are having with our fiat currency currently. The fact that a private entity or some private entities that are in affiliation with the government are in control of our monetary system, which is the problem we all are facing. So now with when Bitcoin emerged 2008, that was when the launch of Genesis block. Satoshi, I think, mined the first block, the Genesis block, which is what it's called. So this is just a sum to let us know that this Bitcoin project and development network has been far back, like as a result of too many research work, too many development and demand for it. That was how Satoshi Nakamoto came about it. And the Satoshi Nakamoto we are talking about here, nobody knows who, if it's a he, if it's a she, which is the sweetest part of Bitcoin, because now nobody is bigger than anybody in the network, which is why you need to understand, because that's why when you go to conferences, you get to see people, no matter who you are, you just got to humble yourself and stack sats. When we come together to have conferences or meetups, you just see people that are down to earth, ready to learn from the next man. So yeah, this is the prehistory of the Bitcoin from the 40 years research. So you should just try and look it up a bit and see the one you actually use. There's cyber cash also there from the 1994. Wow, I was one year then. They were from this. Most of the research here, most of us were not even born then. So yeah, just to let us know that it's actually a lot of work and confirmed. Yeah, I think it's better. Oh wow, nice. Okay, yeah. I guess I was sleeping on that screen also. So yeah, Satoshi Nakamoto and the creation of Bitcoin. So as you have read in our previous chapter, the cypherpunks. So these are a group of people that they were particular about their privacy, their freedom, their liberty in the world that is trying to suppress their free speech and everything. So multiple cypherpunks attempted to create an alternative money system. This chapter continues with the story of Satoshi, a visionary. So when we talk about it, you must remember that there's no particular person that is Satoshi. We are all Satoshis. This an anonymous person can be a man, a woman, a group of people. Long before Bitcoin was part of cryptography enthusiasts like computer scientists, hackers, engaging in discussion to find practical solution to replace the fiat system. The fiat system is still a problem. We must remember that. It is part of the reasons why half of the world is going through what is going through currently. Half of the things or almost everything that is happening in the world now is as a result of the broken money. Imagine a world where you don't have to struggle the way we do just to make ends meet. It's quite everybody know how it is in a labor market, how people or brother do things to brother, friend do things to friends just to make ends meet. There are stories in here you just gotta shake your head and be like, okay, this is one of the things, not just one of the things, one of the many things Bitcoin fixes. So yeah, there were too many hackers that are, because everybody, even the billionaires are feeling it, but they don't really feel it directly because they have a lot of money to actually curb whichever thing that is happening in the fiat world currently, where the banks are just literally doing anything that they really want to, just to favor themselves and their group of cabals. So yeah, this image now is the first email, like an email where Satoshi was trying to explain everything that he has built from the whole research, from references and everything. So yeah, if you look at my slides there, you get to see that he actually added some dogs limits, removed some safe mode. It was the project that was quite tested and relied on to know that, okay, this is a proper network that can actually be adopted by millions of people all over the world, where you get to send value from place to place without an intermediary, which is the sweetest part. So there's more work to do in the dogs, but I'm doing a quick build of what I have so far in case it's needed. But venturing into more complex ideas, the build for the version. So there's what they call, okay, we'll definitely get there, and there's some DOS control, as Gavin and I have, like this, I don't know, this actually an email where he was trying to let the people, some cypherpunk, make them know that the things he has actually built over time, which is from 40 years of research, not just him. So many people have tried it, because it's a minted system, a system whereby a group of people can determine the supply and the demand. why most of these projects failed. So yeah, I'm leaving it limit-free relay. Like these are technical terms where we would have to delve into them on a practical level if we do want that to happen after the end of our section. This is our introduction because we are just introducing you to the Bitcoin network. So on October 31st, 2008, Nakamoto unveiled a groundbreaking white paper where he talked about the peer-to-peer electronic cash on a cryptographic mailing list, whereby you can just send me your, like even on Proton Mail now, you can just send your Proton email address and I'll send you some sats. That's where the whole cryptography, where everything will be transparent on the blockchain. You can go and check every transaction that you have done. I can go and check every transaction that has been done also. If you can actually run your own node, you can actually use other people's node also. So the list is quite endless. So sorry, is somebody's speaker mic on something? Somebody's mic is on. Please help us. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this document laid a foundation for a decentralized peer-to-peer protocol designed to facilitate secure online transactions without the need for intermediary, without the need for a banking system, without the need for like a Visa card also, because that's also an intermediary between the buyer and the seller. So now you're eliminating that particular intermediary, a third party. That's what the Bitcoin, and you get to do that most times. You have to do that either you're running your own node or you're properly using a self-custodial wallet, a wallet that you hold your own private keys and it is not held by a custodial wallet or a custodial service. Nakamoto's vision was clear: to create a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash free from the control of powerful governments and financial institutions. The reasons why government prints money out of thin air and use it to go and fight war is because they have the power to do so. All they have to do is tell the Federal Reserve that, okay, this is the particular amount we'll be needing for so war. It's one of the reasons why I feel like I do not want to interact with any fiat currency, the US dollar, the pounds, you name it. I do not want to interact with them because I only see them as a currency that breeds for war and all that. Doesn't mean that I will not accept them for my services and all that. And that's the thing. That's why we do what we do, because now we are pushing to a point whereby we don't really need to interact with any fiat currency. We earn in BTC, we spend in BTC, and we save in BTC. Now, with that particular form of adoption, with creating such circular economy where everybody around you accepts Bitcoin as a form of payment, I really would not want to interact with a currency that just brings war, pain, agony, and crime and everything. Like everything, to me, everything that's happening around the world currently is because of our money. All currencies are broken. Why? Because it is being controlled by a central entity, the government, the private entities, the banks, every of them that are in charge of the monetary system are one. They are the reasons why everything happening in the world is currently happening, just so you know. Okay, so this is the Genesis block, the first block. So this is more like you would really be interested in coding for you to want to really dive deep into the whole Genesis block and the disappearance of Satoshi, which is the sweetest part about Bitcoin. Fast forward to January 3rd, 2009, Nakamoto mined the first Bitcoin block. So this is that was January 2009. This is the first block here, the Bitcoin Genesis block, has marked the official launch of the Bitcoin network. Like at this particular point now, if you believe in a proper tech, if you were lucky enough to read the white paper, those were the cypherpunks. I think they got to read the whole Bitcoin white paper and saw the project and knew that the project, not everybody is going to be a believer, Even from this our class now, there are people that see they are still skeptical about the information we are giving them, but everybody will definitely get to the point where they will have their wow moments and be like, wow, somebody actually told me something. Somebody actually introduced me to Bitcoin 2025 March, and I was skeptical. They were skeptics. Even they are still skeptics today. Smart economics, smart men in the banking system and in the what markets is the stock markets, they do not understand these things we are talking about right here. So the fact that we are here learning about the introduction to Bitcoin should be something we want to really, really do more research on, and do not hesitate to ask questions at any point or anything you do not understand as I move forward. So this marked the official launch of the Bitcoin network, a new money system built on trust. Like now, this trust we are talking about here, you are trusting the computational power of your CPU. If you're running a node, depending on the way you're going about your self-custody of your Bitcoin, you are trusting that everything you have set up by yourself, self-sovereignty, is going to be your own freedom and liberty from everything that is happening in the monetary system. It's built on trust and security through a decentralized ledger. So now when we talk about this trust, security, and decentralization, now there's what they call the Bitcoin trilemma, where we needed to pick between the security of the Bitcoin network, the decentralization of the Bitcoin network, and the scalability. So now I'm believing and knowing that the Bitcoin Genesis block, they chose the security and decentralization of the ledger. Now it is decentralized and properly secured by computational powers of CPU. You too can run a node. Me can run a node. Anybody, anywhere in the world can run a node. But you just got to have the proof of work. The proof of work system. You need to know how the proof of work system works, which is your computer and your energy. Like your lights, the way you need to pay more light bill for you to be able to mine this network. In the months and years that followed, more and more enthusiasts started to join and contribute to the idea. That was how I became an enthusiast also. Everybody, there's no way you come, you know that something is happening in your monetary system and you would not want to delve into the Bitcoin standard. Okay, so the Genesis block and the disappearance of Satoshi is quite an interesting one. 2011 was when the Bitcoin network proved that it could be operated successfully without the need of an influential creator. Nobody, it has always been like that, but just so people around can actually understand, because there were lots of education that needed to go into the whole network. The influential creator, which is Nakamoto, sent email to a fellow Bitcoin developer announcing to remove themselves from the Bitcoin scene, which is the pure decentralization. Nobody is in charge. Michael Saylor sitting with whichever amount of BTC he has in his stash. There's nothing different from the BTC is holding and the BTC I am holding. As long as, okay, as a matter of fact, I love the BTC I'm holding compared to the one he's holding. Why? Because I am self-custodying my BTC. It's probably not. And the people also in the ETF also, they might not be self-custodying their Bitcoin, which is why I'll definitely pick my own stash over theirs. So this is the Satoshi's email that was used. Like, that's how we know that, okay, this is the man sending the emails, because everything, there's a page on X where you can check it out, the Bitcoin history. There's an historian that talks about everything. You can go, they give you references to go and check them out by yourself. So yeah, let's just read about these charts because I find them interesting. I had a few other things on my mind as always. One is, are you planning on rejoining the community at some point for code reviews? Or is your plan to permanently step back from the limelight? I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with Gavin and everyone. You understand? Now, he had to move away. This is something that not everybody will be capable of doing. People build things and they want the accolade, they want the praises, They want the joy that comes with knowing that they built something great for the world, not just for your community, not just for your state, not just for Nigeria or South Africa, for the whole wide world. People are actually in full joy. People, their hope has been restored, studying and not even studying deep. They just understand how to accept SATs, how to spend it. All these things we are talking about here is none of their business. They know how to self-custody and keep their PIN, their seed phrase safe. They know how to punch in their password to sign transactions. That's all they know. They really do not have time to come and start giving them why. They knew that something was wrong in the world. They knew that the monetary system is bad, and which is what's keeping them poor and hopeless. The moment they heard about Bitcoin and how to navigate through it, they knew they don't want any other explanation. And that's how you find people in the village, people in some rural area that are studying about it and already adopting it even without proper knowledge. But here we are, we need to educate more about these things just to avoid scams and Ponzi scheme. So you understand that you have to do these things by yourself. You have to actually do more research, attend meetups, ask questions, share your own knowledge also, and get to learn from other people, which is one of the beautiful things about the network. It's not just a monetary network that's solving just monetary problem. It is solving other problems that other people have also, So yeah. So I like this part of the whole disappearance point and all. So although Nakamoto's identity remains a mystery, we don't know him. Like I said, I am also a Satoshi because I am here preaching the gospel. Their goal for creating Bitcoin was never a mystery. In essence, Nakamoto created it to take the power away from the few, which is like now imagine in a world now currently that we live in where the president of the United States is shilling what they call shitcoin and all that. Now you're trying to make a strategic reserve in shitcoin, because now you're trying to inscribe value to something that is valueless. The whole Solana network, it is a valueless network. It is a centralized shitcoin because it is being controlled by a group of people. With what we are studying here right now, we know that Bitcoin was created, it is decentralized and secured, but it is not run, like nobody is running it. Nobody can come out and say he is the owner of Bitcoin. He created Bitcoin, which is that's the fact that there's no point of failure. That's how I see it. That's how it is. There is no central point of failure. If I send the transaction right now, nobody's going to tell me that they don't like the way my transaction is. No, as long as it goes together with the hash rate, I am not trying to double spend or anything. It's going to be verified on the blockchain. So the decentralization of the network is actually a very, very big part of the network. The fact that nobody is in full control, it is actually open source. You too can go and build on it. You can get the open source code, and let's say you want to solve a problem in your community and you want to start mining, you want to whichever career, whichever entrepreneurship skill that you have, you can actually start building on the Bitcoin network by accepting SATs, accepting Bitcoin for everything that you do, orange pilling people that you want to spend your BTC also, making it all an open source because anybody can build on it, anybody can go and check out the code by themselves. It is actually transparent monetary system. Everything is on the blockchain. The transaction I did few times, I can actually go and check them out on the blockchain. The separation of money from states, the fact that we know that the government, the politicians that has been in charge of the monetary system has failed us. They failed us totally. They keep printing money out of thin air, a money that is not backed by anything. That's why we actually compare with their comparison, their debates with gold and Bitcoin. Gold, we did the history of money earlier on in our previous classes, where we touched about what failed why has gold failed and everything, which is mainly the scalability and the portability, the divisibility. There are so many things why Bitcoin is actually the Oga of the Ogas. Because now you cannot be transporting. If you want to send gold from here to China, you might not be able to do that today. It's going to take some particular amount of time for you to be able to do that. But if I want to send BTC to somebody in China to get my goods right now, I am going to do it right now, and the person will receive it. If it depends on the amount. If I'm sending on Lightning, the person is receiving it in 2 seconds. If I'm sending on chain, the person is receiving it in a few minutes, which is actually one of the greatest part. And the fact that I am very, very bullish on the fact that we got to separate money. The people that are in power are not meant to be in charge of our monetary system, which is the part of separating money from the state. The states are not supposed to be in charge of, in control of the monetary system, because they would always favor themselves, human being and self-interest. They'll always favor themselves, their friends, their family, and their cohorts. So it's really a bad idea and a better idea to separate money from the state. Creating Bitcoin was Nakamoto's response for the 2008 financial crisis that hurt regular people. These are crises that we should not pray to experience them. These are reasons why we need to arm ourselves with every knowledge that we can get when it comes to financial freedom. Because our financial freedom is our human rights. It is actually our birthright. Because now there's no point coming to the world and just suffering up and down, which is the problem regular people are facing. The 1% are really not going through these things because they have a lot of fiat currency to actually make decisions very, very fast. But it did hit everybody during the COVID pandemic because too many people did not see that coming, which is the thing that we keep talking about also. The fact that there are people that are in charge of this monetary system that tend to make decisions for the whole world, whether you like it or not. But so now, Bitcoin was Nakamoto's answer to the corruption. Like, the corruption is endless, and there are people that they feel and they know that they can actually. Everybody's seeing what's happening in the world. There's a quote that said that bad thing happened because good people refuse to speak up or good people refuse to do something about it. That's one of the reasons why there are too many shitholes and too many things that are happening around the world currently. So Nakamoto set the foundation for a new revolution and walked away from it instead of claiming the credit. So this is one of the reasons or part of the reasons why I'm like, wow. Because even you and I know that if we created something of this nature, there are chances that we might not want to walk away. We want to take credit for what we have built, which is okay, but now it's definitely not going to be decentralized. The fact that he walked away from what he created from 40 years of research and then he walked away from it, then you know that this is actually a network of humility, a network of empowerment, a network of hope, and you can just keep naming it. Whichever thing that we feel like we can ascribe to Bitcoin is what Bitcoin really is, depending on how we see it. So in the years that followed, Bitcoin started to grow quickly and emerge as a symbol of hope. Okay, we are here, empowerment and resilience. Because now it's people quit their job just to actually become educators, just to actually build up Bitcoin circular economy, just to actually start teaching people. They bring people together and actually try to build circular economy, whereby whichever thing you're doing, hairdresser, nails, anything at all that you are doing. There are people that are selling stone. They get stone and then they paint it to either the Bitcoin color, which is the orange pele color, and they are selling it in conferences. People write book about BTC. People are selling clothes. People are selling anything for Bitcoin. People are earning for BTC. That is how we build our hope. That is how we know that, okay, we are saving in a currency that cannot be devalued, that our purchasing power cannot be taken away from us. You know, if you save from now, if you start saving $1 from now, and then in the next 20 to 10 years, they would, I don't know, would know how much we would have saved from those years to come. Because we must understand that our energy is not going to be as 100% as it is right now. Those are the reasons why people retire from their jobs. They retire from their jobs saving in fiat currencies, and after a particular period of time, their purchasing power is being stolen from them. They retired with the hope of getting pension from the government, getting a little particular some, it depends on the government worker or whichever worker that gets those pensions and all that. There are people that are not these workers, they just know that they need to retire. And then when they retire, let's say they retired for a particular amount of money that was supposed to last them for 20 years before their death or something. Now the government has actually debased the currency. An amount that they thought was supposed to take them for 20, 30 years now cannot even take them for a year. Those are the things. Imagine a grandmother in a rural area or even in a city that's actually retired with the hope that the amount or the money she has saved over time during her working experience can actually take her till her grave. Now it cannot even take her for up to a year. There are times, it depends on the country. There are countries that you can't even take them for months anymore, and these are retired government workers or whatnot. So now this is a symbol for us. These are reasons why we keep doing what we do. We keep trying to build circular economy. We keep understanding that we want to earn in SAT. We want to earn in BTC. We want to build our businesses in BTC, because it is a symbol of empowerment. It is resilience, knowing that nobody is going to take my purchasing power away from me. Whichever amount that I'm saving every day is growing in value. I do not care about volatility when it comes to my long-term savings. But when let's say you're using, because me, I already know that I am not hodling or saving in any fiat currency. So now when the market is volatile, I either find a way to actually use my stash as a leverage to actually get more value from my own stash. That's how it is. When the market is down at the particular, I do not necessarily have to sell my stash to actually do whichever thing I want to do, that's something you can get in the fiat system. Challenging the fiat system and providing a secure, censorship resistant, a money that nobody can actually do something or tamper with the network, which is it just means that all transactions are transparent on the blockchain. There's no censorship resistance. Everybody can see what's happening. If by chance Trump now decided to buy 100 million worth of shitcoin, we would see it on the blockchain. These are the reasons. These are part of the reason why people talk about decentralization, tokenization of real estate or the blockchain and all that, because they want people to actually buy fractions of real estate that they can actually buy with $100, $200, $50. But when you tokenize it, people can actually find way to do these things. And now, let's say you want to invest in real estate. You can't do that with $100. You can't do that with 100,000 naira. But with 100,000 naira now, you can buy a fraction of Bitcoin, which is called Satoshis. You can buy a fraction that you can actually self-custody by yourself. And then with time, you keep growing your start, you keep saving, knowing that your value is growing over time. And then we need to understand that Bitcoin is an open source protocol, meaning that no one has the power to control or own it. You can't come and say, okay, you are the builder, you're the creator. The people that tried, they were adjourned in court, they were dismissed in court and probably facing a whole lot of shit right now. Because you are trying to claim credit for what's not yours. You're trying to break our decentralized network, something that we know that nobody is in charge of, nobody is controlling it. It's designed to public and and open for anyone to participate. Anybody can actually build. As a matter of fact, as we are here on this call, if you have any idea, you have anything that we got to build on the network, you just let us know, and always ask your questions and do your research also. But because when you do more research about these things, when we come to classes, there are lots of questions popping, and then we get to gist about these things. And then when we have meetups, we just we chat like we already know what's going to fix all our problems, which is the idea, because we got to fix our shit. So now the Nakamoto's dream is a borderless network. I can actually send you money right now, and then you receive it in 2 seconds wherever you are, whenever, whichever time. It doesn't care about the time of the day. It actually functions 365. Like every blessed day, the market doesn't close. The market is never shut down. Before this digital currency time, everybody knows that the forex market closes on a Friday and all that crap. But this is a network that is borderless. It's quite transparent and secure. It's a secure financial system everybody can live on. You just like, because which other currency would you want to save your value in with the whole inflation that is going on? People value the US dollar because it's more like a Federal Reserve currency. You can spend it anywhere in the world. That is one of the value people ascribe to the US dollar. Empowering the global freedom revolution we are witnessing today. Without Bitcoin now, the human rights activists will not be able to accept donations for their human rights activism. There are people that are fighting for people that do not have. Their government is suppressing their voice, that they can't even talk about the things that are going through on a daily basis. So there are human rights people that are fighting for these people. They are the voice for the voiceless. How are you going to receive payments and donations when your government or the government of the country you are fighting against has already shut down your bank account? Because they know that without money you cannot do anything. We all know that without money we are just like a vegetable. We are, how useless a man or a woman is without money, and the way the world is going. That's what the government use. They use it as a tool to actually keep people in poverty, to impoverish, to make them wealthy. Poverty is a tool that not even only the government, people use poverty as a tool to even keep their fellow families, or they keep just so their family members keep doing their bidding. Their family member will keep saying the things, and there are people that just love power. Those are the kind of people we see in the government and the political sectors. So those are the people we are fighting against when it comes to our financial freedom. Everyday ordinary people are opting out of the fiat system and into the world of Bitcoin. You just have to. The Bitcoin hub, the Bitcoin circular economy is something that we need to look into that very, very well. It is just an economy of people, a group of people. We can actually build ours from our classes currently. Everybody in this section, everybody in this our class that do and understand everything we'll be talking about so far. And then they feel like they have handwork, they have an entrepreneurship skill, they have an agricultural farming skill, or whichever thing. It can literally be anything you're passionate about. And then you feel like whichever value that you want to create in our community, you want to accept BTC as a form of payment also. That's how we build a circular economy. That's how people all over the world are building circular economy. They bring people together. They educate them about Bitcoin. They make them see reasons why they got to accept Bitcoin and have it as a store of value, as a medium of exchange, and as a unit of account. That's why when we talk about these things, we also know that everything is going to be repriced. The things that are expensive currently now will have to be repriced, because now people like you and I are stepping up and saying no to the tyranny that is happening all around the world. Reasons why we start doing that by proper adoption. Whichever thing you're passionate about, whichever business you started already, you are saying you want to accept BTC, you want to store your value in Bitcoin. That is how we get to build circular economy, with proper education and everybody around that community accepting sats for their value creation. Yeah, circular economies have been launched by freedom enthusiasts all over the world. Me myself, I am very, 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 very bullish when it comes to the Bitcoin circular economy, because I do not want to interact with any fiat currency. How am I going to do that? I have to build my own circular economy where my Baba is accepting BTC. I already do my groceries in BTC. Everything, my taxi, my ride, my cleaner, everybody around me, my restaurant that I go to, every blessed thing that I do every day, if I have to spend, I am spending my value in BTC. Reasons being that I do not want to interact with any fiat currency, because I already know that it is one of the problems that everyone in the world is facing. Is the biggest problem we are facing. So why would I want to store my energy in something that is causing nothing but chaos, war, crime, even family feud? Family are having dispute because of this same thing we are talking about. We all know what money is costing. If not in our family, then our neighbors. We all have these experiences whereby both parents are working so hard, but they can't even keep up with the bare minimum bills. It goes deeper and deeper. So yeah, so that is why enthusiasts, freedom enthusiasts, we got to step up and do the things, the changes we want to see in the world. Let us try and be the changes we need to see in the world by accepting and storing our value and our energy and our time in a sound monetary system. Even entire countries that are looking for alternative paths, like El Salvador, are starting to adopt Bitcoin. El Salvador as a country can decide to. Why did they not decide to add it as a strategic Bitcoin reserve, as a strategic reserve? Why did they not decide to add ADA and the whole Solana shitcoin? They know that you cannot be. It's just like I would rather buy, like there was an educational section I was watching earlier today, where in Malawi they would rather, the white guys and some group of guys that I know out there, they would rather buy gold. They would rather buy gold than buying Solana. Why would you want to? You're using something that you used your energy, because you were supposed to be at the beach. You were supposed to just be at home chilling or watching or doing anything, or watching movie on Netflix, or just enjoying your life, enjoying your leisure time. But you said no. You decided to copyright. You decided to do social media content creation. You decided to come here and learn something instead of just chilling and just relaxing. So now, whichever thing that you're storing your time and your energy on, it's supposed to be something that is valuable, something that's scarce, something that is not just printed out of thin air, something that the moment you just walk down the road, you see it on the floor. There's no value in such thing. Nobody, even you won't value such thing. So the scarcity of Bitcoin alone is actually the reasons why countries are adopting it as their own strategic reserve. When you are trying to use your money and your value and your energy and start using it to buy Solana, then you're just, now it's more like you're throwing a cup of water into an ocean, because that Solana you are buying, there are people that are printing it. Then right now, there are group of they can be 10, they can be 20 of company that they might just come and say, okay, now this their marketing team is doing well, this one is doing well, they want to increase the supply. And they will increase the supply, pump their bags, and they'll just sell, like that's what they call raw pool. They'll just dump the market on you, and your value is not going to, let's say you have $100, your $100 might become nothing. You can't even have anything to withdraw anymore. These are the things that you got to know for you to know that it has to be Bitcoin only in your entire journey when it comes to the blockchain and the cryptocurrency markets. You got to understand that every other thing that you try to put your money in is total gambling. And the odds for you, the probability of you winning is as tiny as 1:0. That's how it is. So you must understand that it has to be Bitcoin adoption in every way possible. Countries are adopting it as their own strategic reserve. Irregardless of what the US is currently doing, because that's the biggest disappointment. Imagine the US president shilling shitcoin. Imagine what the African countries will be doing, because now we all know that these governments, some too many governments all over the world look up to what the US government is doing. Now there are too many governments that will be buying this shitcoin. They will be buying this shitcoin with a proper money that was printed, that was supposed to be valuable. Now they are using something of value to buy something that is valueless. It's the same problem. It's the same problem, because now the problem of the money itself is the fact that it is being controlled by a group of people. Now you're taking that same money to give to another group of people that is going to, that this one is even worse now, because now you're seeing it in the markets. There's probably no company to go and cry to or anything as such. So now when we talk about the Nakamoto consensus mechanism, this is actually a very, very fun part where you get to, there are stories that are joined to the consensus mechanism. So we must understand how Bitcoin works. You need to understand how to buy, sell, send, spend. Bitcoin has lots of features. When we dive with time, when you dive into the rabbit hole, that's when we start talking about you are doing 1,000 hours. You can start with 100 hours, not really at a goal, but now every day you're putting in the hours, every blessed day. That's when we say you're diving into the rabbit hole. When you go deeper, that's the proper liberation. You're liberated from the shackles of every form of monetary devaluation. You're like, now you're a newborn king, you're a newborn queen, knowing that you want to go into the world and just conquer everything, whichever value that you want to create in the world, you know that you are earning in a sound monetary system that cannot be devalued by anybody. Fortunately, if you enter the Bitcoin world for the first time, you do not have to perfectly understand how it works to start using it. That's what I'm saying. There are people in some rural areas now, they probably cannot even spell Bitcoin. They probably do not know what we are talking about when we talk about Satoshi. We don't really want to know what we mean by Nakamoto consensus. All they want to know is, does it work? Is it scalable? Is it fast? Can I send it to my brother that is in a different country and a different continent? That's all they want to know. These are people that they really do not have time to, they just want to know that it is actually working. Can they send it can they make cross-border payments in few minutes, in no time? That's one of the sweetest part, knowing that, okay, I really do not have to rely on any third party to actually send value for value all over the world. The same counts for using the internet. That's how the internet is. We are here now with this meeting now because of the internet. Most people do not know how the TCP and the IP protocol, the IP, that's the internet protocol, works. We must try to understand these little technical terms just so we can actually, we don't really necessarily have to understand all these things, but we just need to know to do every Bitcoin transaction we want to do by ourselves without relying on anybody, which is the idea of the self-sovereignty. Yet they send emails, messages. Yeah, we all do that. We don't really know we don't care. We really do not want to start stressing our brain about some certain things. But then we still go ahead and use them because I don't care about how the TCP or what's happening on the back end. I just want my emails and my messages sent. They post content on social media, and every day they really do not know what's happening on TikTok or what was built on the Instagram. People do not even know that there's infinity scrolling. Somebody actually built that infinity scrolling. So we don't really care about these things. Does it really work? Are we able to communicate with our friends and family all over the world? Okay, if that's the case, then I want to use it. I really do not want to start going deeper into a particular rabbit hole that I really don't have the time for, which is one of the reasons why most people do not really want to study. They just want to use it. The same goes for driving a car. That's it. Most people do not exactly know how a car works, yet they know how to drive. That's just how it is. The point, what we are trying to portray here is the fact that you should not start overthinking about, hey, I do not know most of these terms. No, man. the practical aspect, which was why that activity Glenn did for us in our previous class, was actually a very, very great one, because now that's what we do. Like when you're trying to build a circular economy, when you're trying to rescue somebody, when you talk, when you do the whole talking, you got to tell them, okay, go to your app store, go to your Play Store, download so wallet. When they download it, you help them fix their email, you help them fix their phone number, and then you send them some sats. You show them how to accept sats, how to create invoice, and then you just send them sats, and that's it. Now they're seeing the value, they're seeing the money go up, they're seeing everything go up. Now they would have more questions. Now you're building their curiosity and all that, which is one of the reasons, like what this Nakamoto consensus is just pointing out. You really do not have to understand the whole deep dive of the whole consensus and the mechanism. But most people just want to know so that they will know where they are actually storing their value. Deep dive.
Guy.
So how does the Bitcoin work? However, Bitcoin is not widely adopted. Yeah, that's why we do what we do. It is still quite a new technology, like the internet was during the 90s. Because of this, it can be helpful to grasp the basics of Bitcoin in a simple, less technical way. The key idea behind how Bitcoin operates can be condensed into one sentence. Bitcoin is an agreement among people online. What we talk about this thing is, as we are here on this meeting right now, I want to run a node, you want to run a node. Everybody here decides to run a node just to secure the network, because that's how the network is secured. Because an attacker will be able to attack the network if they are able to override, if they are able to catch up with everything, all the blocks and the hash rates that we've done as our proof of work on the network. They would now try to make double spending. That's the best you can do. Start trying to double spend and all those crap. So now it's everybody, every node runner, every miner has come to an agreement to be honest. You might not want to be honest in your day-to-day job or anything as such, but when you come to this particular network, you have to be honest. Every transaction has to be verified and confirmed. There's no room for double spending. So that's the main thing about it. The agreement among people online. We don't have to agree, or we don't have to disagree. We can disagree on too many other things, but when we are here on the network, we are in agreement online. That's the sweetest part, man, because anybody can be anywhere in the world and run their own node to secure the network and have a ledger, a proper blockchain ledger of what's happening on the network. That's the good thing about running a proper node. So you can think of, let me see what time. I think just quickly run through. You can think of it like playing a board game with friends. With a game like Monopoly, you are in agreement, where everybody is in agreement. Nobody is trying to be superior than the other. Everybody is in one accord. Most businesses, and even businesses all over the world that are being sponsored by the government and the political entities, they are actually running a monopolistic game. More like, let's say in Nigeria now, that there's a monopolistic game where there's just a few people that are selling a particular goods or product, where if you go to sell such products, you might be fined or things like that. So it's more like a monopoly, where the monopoly bills are accepted, like the rules. Every player has to be in agreement. Nobody, like, you just got to be honest with everything that's happening on the network. If one player goes against the rules by using toilet paper to buy a house instead of monopoly bills, the other players will call the, like, you can't. Every transaction that is being done on the blockchain every node has to confirm, verify the transaction to know that, okay, yes, this person is not trying to double spend. Like you trying to spend a particular amount that you don't have in your wallet is not going to be possible. Or you spending and then you want to spend that same money that you spent previously from buying your groceries or paying your light bill. That's not possible on the network, which makes it actually transparent and quite decentralized for everybody, because there's no manipulation, there's no censorship resistant in it also. It's quite censorship resistant, I mean. So now, in short, to play the game, you have a consensus on a set of rules with each other to stick to those rules. Otherwise, it will be rejected. Whichever transaction that goes against the rules of the network will not be verified. It will not be signed. It will not be spent. That's just how the network works. Everybody has to be in agreement. Every node runner has to be honest with what's happening on the network. This is essential. It's quite essential to how Bitcoin works, because now there's no cheating on the network. People agree to the same set of rules. Like now you're not stressing about what will happen. You're not thinking about, will this person take your money and run away, and all those plenty things that happen in the fiat world, where you give somebody money and then you're overthinking about it, and then your overthinking is even coming into fusion, because now you've given them money and then they're not picking your call anymore. Things like that happens in the fiat world. So now these rules are mathematically bound, where we talk about the CPU. You must have your computer, your central processing unit to actually verify or actually have your node being run on the network. It is all written in computer code directly by everyone who runs the Bitcoin software. If you go to GitHub, you get the open source code, and then you decide to run your own Bitcoin software. You decide to build something that people can go and let's say they want to book anything online. Now they are using your Bitcoin network, your wallets that you built on the Bitcoin network, and they are using it to book for your services, and then they are paying you in BTC. Everybody can do these things if you want to. The rules of Bitcoin apply to all participants equally. Nobody is greater than anybody. These are reasons why we say stay humble and stack sats. Stay humble and store your value, which means that everyone either follows the rules of the game or they are unable to play the game, because the network will reject every asshole. If you try to become an asshole, if you try to prove to be an asshole, the network is just going to reject your transaction. It is that simple. Okay, so for example, one of the rules of the Bitcoin is that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There's no more, no less. 21 million Bitcoin. And now one Bitcoin makes up for 100 million Satoshis. Inside this 21 million Bitcoin, one BTC, one Bitcoin comprises of 100 million Satoshis. So now, if someone wanted to create 1 million extra Bitcoin for themselves, it is never going to be possible, because now the code, the open source code, has already been coded to a way that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin that can be mined, and not just printed out of thin air. You can't just go and just mine Bitcoin just like that. You must have your computer, you must have your cheap electricity. It will be of no use to them, because they would automatically be identified and rejected by everyone else. This is what makes Bitcoin so robust. The fact that the supply is actually capped. So when you know that the supply of a particular asset is capped, like it's fixed, you cannot go up higher, you cannot go lower. Now, what would make something of that nature? It's going to make it very, very scarce. Now it's a very, very scarce asset that is filled with censorship resistant. It can never be censored. So imagine those things. When you think about it, you just be like, wow, this is actually. And when we start talking about the community, let's not even go to the community. Let's talk about the code itself, how it was coded, that made when everybody read these things, and as a thinking person that know that, okay, you don't have any ulterior motive when it comes to the fiat currency. You just want to ape in, because now you already know that this is actually a robust network of people, a robust network of value. We don't care if you're good or bad. Just apply the rules of the network. Just apply the rules. That's all. It does not matter who you are, where you're from. If you enter the Bitcoin world, you just got to play by the rules, man. So that's why nobody is bigger than anybody in the network. We are all Satoshis.
Yeah. Sorry. Before you
Okay.
move
Okay.
forward, I'm so sorry. Um,
Oh,
Zek asked the
man,
question,
I also checking the chat.
and one of the questions, Zek, no, a question. The question is that why is Bitcoin fixed to 21 million? Why not 20, 30, 50?
Yes. Yeah, that's a very, very good question, man. So this the 21 million is a random number, from my own opinion, with what the little that I've read about the whole idea of the 21 million. It's more like, okay, now how many satoshis can you find in one Bitcoin? So now when you start, because now you have to know that, okay, there's only going to be this particular amount of this particular asset that can be mined. And now Satoshi actually they calculated it properly. He knows when the last Bitcoin will be mined. You understand? They already, like, it's that's why when we, from the prehistory of the Bitcoin there, we saw that it's a long journey of 40 years of research. So many people have tried to do these things, but they failed, because it was being controlled by a like a centralized entity, a group of people. As long as there are human beings controlling it, human beings will always want to favor their self-interest. So now Satoshi actually, like, he thought about everything. He said, okay, how many satoshis can be found in one BTC? He made sure that it's actually 100 million satoshis for one Bitcoin. He knows that, okay, now how many years will it take for this amount of Bitcoin to be mined? We already know 2140. That's when the last BTC will be mined. So this is actually, when I came across a reading where it was being asked, he said that it could actually be any amount of number, but the point was for it to be actually fixed, knowing that it cannot be like you can't go above it, and you can't go lower than it. So he actually thought about it critically, and then he came to a fixed point of making it 21 million Bitcoin. And then he actually set what they call like a difficulty adjustment, the amount of years it's going to take for us to get into the halving, the Bitcoin halving, where the amount of block reward that the nodes and the miners are getting, for like more like an incentive for keeping the network strong and verifying transactions. Their reward is being slashed into two. Glenn spoke about it in our last class. That's what we call the Bitcoin halving. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's particular 21 million
yeah,
million. It can actually be 30. It can actually, but he actually did the
yeah,
calculation, because these things actually, they have a lot of mathematics in it also. So according to what he said
yeah.
in an article I read, he said it can actually be 31, it can be 30, but with the calculation he did and the particular amount of years it's going to take, he actually chose the 21 million instead. So I hope that
Okay,
answers. And yeah,
okay. So
if we would still do, that's a very, very good question that we'll have to do more insight and more deep dive into. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If even me, self, I will go and do my own
Yeah,
research
that's
because
why
that
that's
question
why
is
we
very, very
push about
important.
questions,
Uh,
man. That's why we push about questions.
yeah,
So, and then this 21 million, if you notice now, people, when you want to do giveaway for a start, you say, okay, 21 million. Yeah,
yeah.
21 million
21.
stars. That people just use the number. Yeah, but
You know that wallet of Satoshi giveaway. They were giving like 21, do 21 sats and Sunny just
yeah,
do
that's
100,000
yeah. People
sats.
just
You
got
know.
into the whole 21, because now it's actually, we are happy about the whole idea, because we know that the problem of oversupply, too much supply. Now you're excessively supplying money and fiat currencies into the market, into the economy, which without proper demand. Now you actually printed 100 billion
True.
US dollar into an economy that's the demand, or the goods and services that could actually hold such amount of currency, is very, very minimal. So what would such scenario cause? Such scenario is going to cause increase in prices. That's all it causes, because now the amount of money, the supply of the money in that particular economy is greater than the demand for the goods and services. So now let's say I am a water seller, or I sell bottled water or anything like that. I have just 5 bottled water to sell, and then I am noticing that 10 people are coming to buy my 4 bottled water. What am I going to do when the demand is higher than the amount of 4 bottled water I have? I have to increase my prices. That's how these prices go up over time, because now there's excessive money. Money is excessively supplied into the economy,
True.
but now there's only limited goods
True.
and services. And now people will start demanding for this
True.
because now there's money, but the services and the
Yeah.
goods are quite minimal. And I noticed that 10 people is asking for, hey, can you train me today? I would increase my price. I will have to increase my price just to be
Yeah.
able, okay,
True.
now the people that are able to pay this high amount are the people I want to work with, because I can't work with everybody. I am not a
True.
machine, you know.
True.
So those are the reasons
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
you gotta make the supply fixed, you know. Even in human being
True.
also, it's not everywhere they invite you to you go to. The more people start seeing you, there's
True.
what they call see finish. That's how syphilis sets in. Baba, this thing goes deeper than just 21 million. That's how it is.
Nah, so
It goes deeper than just
very true.
21 million. He
Very
knew
true.
that he needed to put it into a fixed price, like a fixed amount, just so people would not, like, it will not be in excessive supply. That's why most times we talk about this thing, we say everybody will buy Bitcoin at the price they deserve, but that's not our case, because we are here learning this thing now. But if you want to make it your case, then it's going to be your
Yeah.
case. Because if you start being skeptical about these
Yeah.
things and start thinking, hey, somebody want to scam you of your money and all these things without doing your own research, then you have to buy Bitcoin at the price you deserve. That's probably going to be $1 million. I don't know. Depends if there will be $1 million to buy it also.
Okay. Okay. Another question. I feel like we should round up here with questions and maybe work on the next section. Very, very effective, because we have a
Yeah,
lot of
okay.
slides to
I wanted
cover.
to
I
just
won't
get to
lie.
the activity, but I'm seeing that the activity is quite far away.
Yo,
Wow.
it's very far, and we are up to like
Wow.
1 hour 20 minutes. So good. Like, our people are still very eager. And there are questions to
Okay,
be asked.
maybe
There's
we'll
like
have to
4
stop at
questions now.
17, page 17, yeah? That's it.
Okay, maybe you can round up and we can
Okay,
take in all the
let me just
questions.
touch about this. How does Bitcoin work? Just so people can ponder about it when they get to their beds tonight.
Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, this applies to all people and entities with an enormous amount of control and influence in the world. If you have the control that Godwin Emefiele had, you would print also. You would press the red button. Because now, let's say your father or your mother is a political entity, and then if they do not press the red button, which is printing more money into the economy, they are going to lose their position as the government's worker or whichever thing. As a Bitcoiner, that I know that I do not want to print more, I do not want to increase the supply, which is the 21 million, I would step down. Because now I am the job that I am doing, the work, becoming a leader for my country. I am not becoming a leader because I want to make money from leadership. I am becoming a leader because I want to lead and guide my people. You get? So now I would, as a Bitcoiner on a Bitcoin standard, I would step down, knowing fully well that my Bitcoin, I just got to go and relax. If they vote me out, I will just go to one island and be spending my Bitcoin. That's how it is. But when you are running in a fiat world, you are quite greedy. Your 100 million is not enough for you, because you know that is a currency that does not hold its value. That is where greed comes from. We all know that there's inflationary measures to most of this currency we are holding in our pockets. So now we try to be greedy. We try to make more of it at the expense of the next man or the next woman or the other. Understand? So in the Bitcoin world, there's no room for cheating or sabotage. Everyone is treated equally, and no one can change that. You cannot change it. It is how it is. When you are running in the Bitcoin standard, you are contented because now your time preference has actually decreased. Something that you let's say
Yeah.
you're a kind of person that goes to the club and everything like that, and then in the club you spend $1,000 in the club, or you spend $5,000 or things like that. On the Bitcoin standard, because you know that that is your value that you are giving away per night, because you are just coloring your sleep, you're just depriving yourself from sleeping and anything and stuff like that, and then you're spending your
Yeah.
energy and your time in a club with that particular amount of money. It's all in the fiat standard. That is why people think that they are big boys and girls because they go to clubs and spend so amount of money and things like that. Expensive. It is only expensive. You're only spending that amount of money because the money is broken. On a normal, if we are going to have fun all through the night in a campfire, having a great time and anything as such, we are not supposed to spend such amount of money. It is all because of the whole inflation and everything, and the whole greed that we are talking about. Now, a bottle of champagne that is sold outside of the club for $1,000 is now being sold inside the club for $5,000. Is that not what fiat does to human being? Something that you know because of the time. That's how, when we talk about value, that's what you got to think about. A bottle water that is sold at a supermarket let's say $1, at an airplane it is not $1. At a ship, inside a ship or a yacht, it is not definitely not going to be $1. The value is definitely going to be increased due to the scarcity of it at that particular time. The fiat has done a lot of damage. Just so everybody knows that. Did you know that since 2009, Bitcoin has withstood over tens of thousands of attacks? Okay, this one now. When we talk about this one now, there's I've forgotten that particular billionaire that said that he paid three hackers
Okay.
100,000 each for them to hack the Bitcoin network. They tried and tried and tried. They could not hack the network. They gave them 10 years to try hacking the network. They could not hack the network. They went back to the billionaire that wanted them to hack. I've forgotten the name of that billionaire. He's actually a popular figure. They went back to the billionaire to ask him to. You know what these hackers did? They were asking the billionaire to pay them in Bitcoin. Bro, see, when we talk about hacking aspects, we just got to clear that part out. A lot of hackers have tried. We heard about the Bybit story about the hackers that took 1.6 billion. That 1.6 billion dollars now, or how much was it, is above the amount that even the founder is holding. That was the amount they hacked from Bybit. They hacked the amount that even the founder that created that shitcoin does not even have it in his wallet, Vitalik. Everybody can go and check the amount of BTC. Satoshi I think, is still currently the top person holding the highest amount in Bitcoin currently. I'm not sure about that statistics or the data, but the last time I checked, Satoshi was still the top, and I'm not sure he has sold for a very, very long time. So when we talk about these things, these are things that we can go and check and look out by ourselves. Okay, so the players, what's the time? Okay, I think let's just stop here. This 6.2. Yeah, let's just stop here.
Yes.
Yeah, to take our time when we are quite refreshed and talk about the miners, the nodes properly. Let's not rush about that. So yes, let's just call it a day or a night here.
No.
Yeah, sure.
There are some
So let's
questions that we
get
should
to the questions.
go through. Okay, so you can go to the chat box and check it. I will just read it out. Okay, so Dennis asked,